Hello everyone, I'm Randy and I'm trying to get back to my series where I go through each year and tell you my favorite album, my favorite song, my favorite movie, and my favorite television show. We're back up to 1977. I started in 1950 and this was a tough year as far as albums were concerned because usually I kind of pretty know what my 5 favorite albums are going to be. This year I probably only had my 2 favorite, and then the rest was, I kept changing my mind, and I almost wanted to change my mind right before I did this video. So I'm going to show you some of the other albums that were under consideration before I get into my 5 favorites. Some of the ones that were under consideration: the great Bob Marley album, Exodus; Billy Joel's The Stranger; Steely Dan's Asia; Tom Waits' Foreign Affairs; David Bowie, Heroes. One of my favorites, didn't make it this time, Graham Parker and the Rumor, Stick to Me. Thin Lizzy's Bad Reputation. The Kinks' Sleepwalker. Foreigner's Debut. Blue Oyster, I can't say it. Blue Oyster Cult, Spectors, I mean. That's it. I also need to say that in order to pick something, I have to have a physical copy in my collection. And also with the television series, they are only eligible their debut season. Okay, so let's get to it. My 4th runner-up, and that's going to be for album of the year of 1977, is Lights Out by UFO. This pick may surprise some people, but I have always loved this UFO album with phenomenal guitarist Michael Schenker, with a hint of the blues, some nice rock ballads, and I actually really like their love cover of, where do I find it on here? Alone Again Or. I just saw some video out there where some person said that was one of their most hated rock songs of all time because they didn't think it fit UFO, but I kind of like it. So yeah, UFO Lights Out is my 4th runner-up. My 3rd runner-up, Cheap Trick's debut, self-titled. This is a late addition to my favorites, as I didn't pick this up until last year, and it's a power pop gem with some crunching guitars, songs full of hooks, and some taboo-like subjects with their own brand of humor thrown in. It's a real revelation. Yeah, Cheap Trick's debut, my 3rd runner-up. Now for my 2nd runner-up, it's David Bowie's Low. There's songs. Yeah, the first of what became known as the Berlin Trilogy. Bowie worked with musician Brian Eno and producer Tony Visconti with some fine art rock tunes and a second side that explores electronic and ambient soundscapes, which sounds like something that I would not like, but this one really had me engaged. And the song Sound and Vision is one of my favorites. David Bowie's Low, my 2nd runner-up. And my 1st runner-up, My Aim Is True, Elvis Costello. This album was a revelation when Elvis Costello exploded onto the music scene with a look like Buddy Holly and a Presley first name, with the country rock band Clover backing him up, with many of its members later joining Huey Lewis and the News, and multi-instrumentalist John McPhee joining the Doobie Brothers. This is the album before the Attractions joined. Okay, there's some punk, some new wave, some pub rock, and Elvis always has those clever lyrics. Sometimes I wonder, how did he ever think of that? But anyway, superb debut, Elvis Costello's My Aim Is True, my 1st runner-up. But my favorite album of 1977 is indeed Rumors. Now, this one was just hard to ignore, as it was a juggernaut with seemingly every song getting radio airplay. All 3 of the lead vocalists, Lindsey Buckingham, Stevie Nicks, and Christine McVie, shine on some classic songs. There was turmoil within the band as 2 relationships were experiencing rocky times. It did not affect the music, and it maybe even became a proactive outlet with some inspirational and raw emotional tunes, with a few filled with vindictiveness, that gave this album kind of a voyeuristic quality. Favorite album of 1977, Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. And now for my fourth runner-up for my favorite song of 1977. It's off this Mink DeVille album, Cabrera. And it's the debut album, and it's led by singer Willie DeVille, and it's the song Spanish Stroll. This was their only charting single in the UK. It was Willie DeVille's smoky vocals. It had some doo-wop elements in it, and a celebration of New York City street life. It sounds like a song that Lou Reed could have recorded. Yeah, Mink DeVille's Spanish Stroll. And my third runner-up is from Charlie Rich. It's on this classic compilation album. It's actually a promo, but it's the song, second one on here, Rollin' with the Flow. Much like Randy Newman's song Rollin', this would be my kick back and chill song with a cold beverage. It was written by country music artist T.G. Shepherd and first released by him, but it is the Rich cover that became a hit. Rich, known as the Silver Fox, dabbled in quite a few different genres, starting as a studio musician at Sun Records. He even did a jazz album, much like Chet Baker Sings, the Chet Baker Sings album, yeah. Just amazing artist, Charlie Rich and Rollin' with the Flow. Second runner-up from Jackson Browne and his album Running on Empty. And even though it's a medley kind of thing, I'm counting as one song. It's the Loadout / Stay, which was always played together. One of the best songs ever chronicling life on the road, which is The Loadout, that segues into an interpretation of Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs' hit Stay. And it's kind of a medley about the joy of playing to a live audience, at least the second part is. And we also get multi-instrumentalist David Lindley singing the falsetto part. Yeah, The Loadout / Stay off Running on Empty. My second runner-up. First runner-up from Fleetwood Mac's Rumors. It's the song Go Your Own Way. The deteriorating relationship between Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks is in full view here with this song. Written and sung by Buckingham with a fine guitar solo by him as well. And the band is also in fine form in this one. It was picked as one of the 500 greatest songs by Rock and Roll Magazine. And my favorite song from 1977 is from this album, Elvis Costello's My Aim is True. First song on the second side, The Angels Want to Wear My Red Shoes. This is a sort of anti-fairy tale on how your devotion to someone may not be reciprocated. It has the jangly guitars, kind of Birds-like, a catchy chorus, and timeless lyrics. I'm always amazed at how Costello could write a lyric incorporating so many different elements. My favorite song from 1977, The Angels Want to Wear My Red Shoes. Now for my favorite movie of 1977, the fourth runner-up is William Friedkin's The Sorcerer. This is an unbelievably tense thriller as four men risk their lives transporting unstable dynamite through a dangerous South American jungle. It's a remake of the Henri-Georges Clouzot 1953 film. I didn't write it down. I think it's called The Wages of Fear, which I still have yet to see. I need to. But Roy Scheider stars as one of the unfortunate exiled men, and the scenes on the rickety bridge are pure movie gold. I recommend this movie, The Sorcerer. My third runner-up, Slapshot, directed by George Roy Hill. Sports Illustrated calls it one of the top 10 sports movies ever. It's one of my favorites for sure. But yeah, hilarious comedy about a failing hockey team that has a resurgence with some violent play. Paul Newman stars as the cynical aging player coach and is perfect in the role. To help with their playing style, they bring in the Hanson brothers, maybe the most memorable characters in the movie, basically psychotic goons looking for a fight. And they were actually minor/pro players. Actually, it was only two of the Hanson brothers. One of the Hanson brothers got called up. I don't know if it was the NHL or some team, and he was having to play hockey. But yeah, they were all hockey players playing the Hanson brothers. well, but only actually two Hanson brothers were in it, the movie. But anyway, extremely funny and profane, and initially not a critical favorite, but yeah, it's a great one. My second runner-up is Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Yeah, a different type of alien confrontation movie from Spielberg that depicts a different outcome from what we are used to in alien invasion movies. Even with the stunning visuals, the wonder is both technical and personal. You will never see Devil's Tower National Monument the same after you see this movie as well. And my first runner-up for 1977 movie is Star Wars. I guess now called Star Wars 4, A New Hope, or Episode 4, A New Hope. I can't keep track of these new titles that they give them. But anyway, when I saw it, it was Star Wars. This is a nostalgic pick in that I can still remember a friend hyping this movie up and then going to the theater to see it and not being disappointed. It was called a Western in Space. It also has all the elements of a perfect science fiction movie. It still has some of the tacky dialogue, which is kind of part of the 50s serials, which it pays homage. But is always in good humor. It's a legacy pick, Star Wars or Episode 4, A New Hope. And my favorite movie of 1977 is Annie Hall, directed by Woody Allen. This is my favorite Woody Allen movie about a man who always sees the absurdities of love and life and is always ready for disappointment. Much like the TV show Seinfeld, there are scenes in this movie that you can always relate to in everyday life. But within all the neurotic behavior, there's a certain amount of painful truth. It's just a heartfelt comedy. Annie Hall, my favorite movie of 1977. As far as television goes, 1977 seems to be the nadir for television debuts, although you did have Lou Grant, which I don't have. But I guess I always kind of saw Lou Grant through Mary Tyler Moore as a comedy, and then when they had a drama with him as Lou Grant, I just didn't watch it. Three's Company just had a bunch of silliness. Love Boat had some golden age actors and always had an excuse to have someone up-and-coming star in a swimsuit by the pool. But I don't have any of those shows, and I don't think that they would be one of my favorites. And actually only have 3 series from 1977, so they will have to be my picks. And even though each one has a few foibles. So anyway, let's get to my picks. So for 1977, my second runner-up for television series is Quark. Speaking of silliness, in the Get Smart vein of silliness, this series was created by Buck Henry, co-creator of Get Smart, and it starred Richard Benjamin. He was in charge of a space garbage ship, sort of a satire of Star Trek. It started slow, but kind of picked up steam but before it was canceled after only 8 episodes. It also starred Conrad Janis, known for Mork and Mindy, and the Barnstable twins right here. Eye candy for the guys, but one twin was supposed to be a clone of the other, and each claimed the other was the clone. But and speaking of Love Boat, actually, the Barnstable twins starred on a Love Boat episode the next year where they each decided they were going to switch husbands. My first runner-up is The Richard Pryor Show. This was a comedy variety show starring controversial comedian Richard Pryor. It was offered to him by NBC after a successful TV special. The show was somewhat uneven, but did challenge television conventions, which really pushed the boundaries of what you could show on television, especially since it was placed in the family hour time slot, back when they had those back then. And there was a real battle between Pryor and NBC, and only 4 episodes were produced, and Pryor never worked with NBC again. It also provided Robin Williams' television debut. This was picked more for what could have been, because there were elements, and it would have been nice that he would have been given more freedom, which NBC did not apparently do. And my favorite television show from 1977 is Logan's Run. Now, the series came out a year after the movie adaptation of the 1967 novel of the same name. It stars Gregory Harrison and Heather Menzies. on the run as they escape the city of domes, where your life ends at 30, and searching for the mythical sanctuary on what is left of Earth after a nuclear holocaust. It has been remarked that Heather Menzies' outfit got shorter and shorter as the series went on. I will say that one drawback with the series is the most annoying theme music of any show I've ever watched. But yeah, unfortunately, it only lasted one season, but I found it very interesting. And it's my pick for 1977, which was not the greatest year. It does pick up in 1978, and so I will see you in 1978, hopefully soon. And everyone take care.